Bonjour. So here we are. This is it, day one of the French lockdown that's scheduled to go on to December the 1st, but nobody really believes it'll end then. Uh, it uh, it was always going to be an interesting day. This yesterday was a day of such drama in Nice and the adrenaline of everybody going into lockdown, the terrorist attack, all the horrors of that. That uh, One was carried through on a sort of wave of that, really. But today the reality sets in, and we're under the new lockdown rules, which are very strict. I've attempted to go through them to try and make some kind of sense of them, so this might be of use to expats in France. And might be rather amusing to you freedom-loving Brits. The first thing to note is that before one leaves the house for the hour of state-sanctioned exercise, stroke dog walking, you have to fill in an attestation. Now, you may have read about this in the British press. It's quite an interesting document. You know, they print it off, put it in your hand, put it in your pocket, and show it to the policeman. Or you can put it on your mobile phone. And basically, here it is. It says, "I, the undersigned, Mr. She, they, hey, born on," I'm certainly not putting my proper date of birth. You put your address down, and then you say, "I certify that my reasons to be outdoors match one of the following situations." Check the box. Now, the great difference apparently between this form and the previous one that we had in March is that you can tick more than one box. Now, this is to encourage people to do more than one thing when they go out at the same time. Good idea, that. Anyway, so I could tick the box which says I am now going to be commuting to and from work or university. I think there's very little chance of that. Training places or business trips that cannot be delayed. I might have a bit of business. I could tick the box that says I'm running necessary errands to purchase items for professional activity, or basic commodities available in the businesses allowed to provide a service. Now, that's not hairdressers, they're all shut. That's not florists, but they only shut on Sunday because of the school holidays. Go figure. But florists shut on Sunday. Bookshops, sadly, you can't buy a book. There's a bit of an attempt by the book industry to say that books might actually be an essential service. We'll see how that goes. I think they might get that through. So that's box number 2. Box number 3, I could consult. It's a very odd translation. Consult and provision of care that cannot be done remotely or delayed, or medication purchase. Don't you think the Sky News alert? I always, when it comes on, I always sing, "There's more death." I mean, I realise that's quite black humour, but it's the times in which we live. So I can go out to purchase medication. Number 4, imperative family reasons. I can assist a vulnerable person. I can assist a person in a precarious situation. Or I can take care of children. Number 5, person with a disability or their accompanying person. Number 6, individual outdoor exercise, collective physical activities not allowed. I can walk out with the people I live with in the same household, or walk out with a pet. Now, Halloween's already had one walk today. She's going to be knackered. Within 1 kilometre of one's place of residence. Now, I saw a friend of mine on Facebook had said earlier that he lives more than 1 kilometre from the forest where he regularly goes to exercise. And it's his sort of happy place. I think it's a bit, that's where the 1 kilometre rule, well, it kind of makes sense, is, and we're very lucky here, is that we can get down to the beach in it's under 1 kilometre, and I can get into the trees at Montalbon, which is less than 1 kilometre, for my essential service. But But I think if you do live more than a kilometre away from your happy place or your park, or if you're living in a flat or whatever in Nice North, it's these rules are much tougher. You can go out if you're summoned. You can do an appointment to public service officers. You can participate in a mission of general interest upon request from an administrative authority. Right. And you can take your kids to school. But anyway, the bottom line is you have to sign this, you have to put the date on, you have to put the time you left the house on. And if you don't, you get €135 fine. And if you're caught 3 times, you're sent to Italy. No, if you're caught 3 times, it's €3,750. So it'll be interesting, because I'm going to take a walk out into the village now to see, as we pass the police station, whether anybody stops us. Mr. Boo went out, as I say earlier, with Halloween for her morning constitutional, and he certainly wasn't stopped. And because people are going to work still in France during this lockdown, the roads are still busy. A bus went past and there were sort of 5 people on it, he said. But so I think that's going to be a very interesting thing about whether this lockdown works. Is it strict, and it is a 100% stay-at-home order, but apart from work and schools. And the question for the French will be, can they get the figures down while still keeping the schools open and while still sending people to work? That remains to be seen. Anyway, going to take a walk out now and have a look at what's happening in the village of Villefranche on the first day of lockdown season 2. Come with me. So I'm out on the streets. I've not been arrested yet. Well, it's quiet, and I've yet to see a cyclist, though I am pretty certain from my bit of research that you can actually cycle, providing it's within 1 kilometre of your house. But please don't send me the bill if you get a fine and I'm wrong. But as far as I can ascertain, you can actually cycle. But let's see what's in the village. Let's see if anything's open. Coming up to the high risk bit now, going past the police station. Wish me luck. I'm not actually sure whether you're meant to wear a mask. In Nice you certainly have to, but I don't know whether you do in Villefranche. But as soon as I'm coming up to some policemen up ahead, and I've just passed 2 COVID marshals in the bus shelter. In fact, the only people getting on the bus were the COVID marshals. Good news is the chemist is open, and Le Petit Biscuit is open for takeaway only. Remember that? Flashbacks to London in March and April. Oh my God. And the Roxy is doing takeaway too. There's a little plastic window there and he pushes your pizza through. The lounge and Chez Betty both firmly shut and will remain so until at least December. Tourism office firmly shut just as well. I don't think we've seen a tourist since about September. Bit of good news, the public toilets are still open. Interestingly, hotels are actually allowed to stay open. The restaurants have to close and they can serve room service. In reality, I think virtually every hotel has closed down completely for the year now. You can still go to the doctors though. They've got the right idea. That's a very good spot to lock down in. Apparently sales of dogs have rocketed in the last 48 hours. But it's interesting when you walk down into the main marketplace here in Villefranche, where the busiest cafes and bars are, the reality of this really hits home. Quite literally, one man and his dog. It's a very nice dog, though it doesn't like Halloween. They have some terrible rows. For the most part, the traders are just packing everything up for the season. Well, this is the seafront in Villefranche. Normally at lunchtime on a sunny day like this, the tables would have been spilling out onto the jetty here. It would have been very busy. Not a soul. quite strange, isn't it, coming down here, because we're actually used to these scenes now. You know, back in April and May in London and here when everything was closed, nobody could quite believe it. And they certainly couldn't believe and would never have believed that we'd be back where we started again now in November. But that's where we are. Oui, vous ouvrez? Oui, c'est bon. So that's it. Villefranche is closed apart from the essential shops. And the only people really in the town, people walking their dogs, fools like me vlogging, and traders who are tidying up to lock the doors for the rest of the year. So that's it, a sleepy village passes into a catatonic state. Let's hope it works. Join me next time when I'm thinking of doing 10 minutes of televised thumb twiddling. A cyclist, it must be true.